Housing Minister Francine Duranceau still hopes to see her Bill 31 adopted by the end of the session. She believes it's a tool to counter the housing crisis. Duranceau tabled Bill 31 on the last day of the session in June. She had two objectives: reducing abusive evictions that contribute to homelessness and giving landlords some leeway. The bill prompted protests and anger over plans to allow landlords to refuse any lease transfers.
The government is already doing nothing for tenants' rights, so the only option we have to defend ourselves is lease transfers. And if we lose that, we lose control over the prices over the city. We lose our city.
Me, the only reason I can afford my rent right now is because I got a lease transfer. Same thing for my last apartment, same thing for the apartment before. It's the only reason I'm able to afford rent in this city.
From the start, Duranceau was firm in her will to defend the rights of owners.
Est-ce que le locataire, c'est le propriétaire de l'immeuble? Non.
It's so unbalanced that we don't think it's the right moment to change the way lease transfer works.
The Liberal Party's housing critic Virginie Dufour was a municipal councillor for 8 years in Laval. She admits the bill has some merits. Once Bill 31 becomes law, evicted tenants will receive higher compensations. 1 month's rent for each year they've been there, with a minimum of 3 months of rent to a maximum of 24 months. And the owners, not the tenants, will have the burden of proof that an eviction was done in good faith. The opposition parties tried to convince the housing minister to ban evictions for Airbnb conversions.
On va agir sur le logement, mais autrement.
Yes, I am disappointed. I think that we need more housing than Airbnbs.
They see this as a failure of Bill 31.
Unfortunately, it's a lost opportunity. The Minister of Housing rejected my amendment.
Quebec Solidaire and the PQ also wanted to reduce the length of the so-called Clause F. It allows owners of new construction to raise the rent however they see fit for 5 years. The minister wants the status quo, but owners will have to make their intentions clear on the lease.
Je comprends qu'on veut présenter un super pouvoir.
The Liberals and the PQ are skeptical about a new article that Francine Duranceau tabled. It would allow municipalities 5 years after Bill 31 becomes law to authorize housing projects of at least 3 units. As long as they hold public consultations, they could skirt some bylaws. The article has been suspended for now. MNAs will discuss it again later.
But it could lead to a free-fall in some cities.
With all this work ahead, Liberals and the Parti Québécois have doubts Bill 31 will be adopted before the end of the session. The housing minister, Francine Duranceau, wanted the law to be in place to prevent future evictions in early 2024. But to get there, Quebec Solidaire says she needs to do her share of the work.